Hi guys, welcome to this video. Today we're talking about ragdoll personalities. Hopefully by the end of this video you know what to expect if you get a ragdoll cat.
Make sure to keep in mind that all cats are individuals, so they can vary from cat to cat. So we'll base our information on our two cats, Pixie and Bluebell.
Pixie and Bluebell, someone there. This video is a little bit longer than our usual ones, so for your convenience we've prepared timestamps which you can find down below to the specific sections of this video.
I have a list on my phone detailing similarities and differences between Pixie and Bluebell, so you can get an idea of what behaviours are displayed by both cats and what is individual to them.
So to kick things off, we're going to start with
food. The reason for that may be that our cats are on a raw diet, but they are not interested in human food. In fact, some of it makes them really unhappy.
For example, Pixie hates bananas. Whenever she comes up to a banana and smells it, she literally has like a gag reflex and she looks like she's about to throw up, which is very funny to look at. And
but also quite...
Yeah, I was really shocked to start with, but it's just so funny. And she always comes up to smell a banana. Funny notes on the same subject, Bluebell does the same with a pen, but he keeps wanting to smell the pen. It's a weirdo.
Pixie really likes the smell of crisps. So she did lick a crisp a few times, but we never gave her one to eat it. But Bluebell, very weirdly, loves the smell of protein shakes.
Yes. Protein! I love protein!
Again, never gave him one to drink, but he loves the smell of it. It doesn't even it doesn't matter what flavour it is, he just loves the smell of protein.
He just loves protein.
Another thing food related that Pixie loves is plastic packaging. So she hates fruit like she hates strawberries, but strawberries packaged, not opened, she loves. So she will lick the plastic, which definitely is not good, and we try to discourage her from doing so. But she, for some reason, enjoys plastic.
She doesn't just lick it. Whenever we unpack the shopping, she actually bites into the plastic.
Yeah.
So like, you know the film that on top of the fruit? She bites through it and then just goes around the edges. Super funny. But don't let your cat do it.
And on the note of plastic, Pixie loves pawing plastic bags. So she will just sit there and paw a plastic bag when we bring shopping home. Whereas Bluebell loves getting inside of the shopping bag, so we always just need to make sure that there isn't anything in the bag that would be poisonous to them or anything before Bluebell gets in. Now, Matt, would you like to tell us the differences between how they eat treats?
Oh, okay, so I didn't know Mona was going to ask me this question, she got me on the spot. But basically, Pixie, whenever she hears the slightest sound that's similar to the packet of Cosmo Snackies being opened, she just runs straight to it and she's like, oh, I'm ready. Yeah. And she's very keen, so she goes on your leg, jumps up and tries to get it as soon as possible. Where Bluebell is just a little bit more well behaved, and he comes up and just sits there and you have to gently pass it over to him, and he's gonna make sure that he doesn't touch your finger when he takes it off you, where Pixie just kind of goes for it.
It used to be the other way around.
Yes.
Though. But another funny thing is that Bluebell just leaves crumbles all over the place, and Pixie comes up and licks it off the floor for him, leaving it nice and clean.
Yeah, so we don't have to clean the floor.
Now, the other thing is how they actually eat their normal food, and here it's a little bit different. So Bluebell just swallows, he doesn't bite. He just picks up the pieces of meat and swallows, whereas Pixie bites, but if there is a bigger piece of meat, she will just take it in her mouth and run onto the carpet or onto the rug to eat it, which can be quite messy.
Still don't know why she does that. She's got a placemat under the bowl, so we thought that would fix the problem, but no, she just likes to go away from the bowl and eat it in peace. So now we're going to talk about how they ask for food. Bluebell is like the cutest cat ever. He never makes a sound when he's hungry. He just goes up to where the fridge is and sits under the fridge, like by the fridge, and just sits there, does nothing. And sometimes when I look at him, he's just like, is it time for food? And I'm like, oh my god, just meow and we'll get you food.
Yeah, the other night we got up because Pixie was making a mess, and it was like probably midnight, And I just looked in the kitchen and
He
Bluebell
was
sat
just
on his
sitting there.
placemat. And I felt so bad because I thought, oh, what if he sits there all night and doesn't meow? Pixie, on the other hand, jumps up onto the counter and makes this really weird meow. So one thing that we need to notice, and we'll talk about it more in detail later on, is that Bluebell is very loud, so it is very strange for him to just sit there and not make a sound, whereas Pixie is a lot quieter, so it is a little bit strange when she jumps up on the counter and makes this really loud meow. We know that she's hungry
Yes.
then.
Now we're going to talk about how they sleep, where they sleep, and what happens at night really. So to start off with Bluebell, he loves to sleep on the bed, and he has this one corner on the bed that's specifically his. It happens to be on my side of the bed, so if I put my feet in this place, he literally just jumps and attacks my feet. He doesn't do it any other time, so I think he's just like very protective about this space. So yeah, that's super funny. Where Pixie, she loves to sleep on a cat tree or under the bed. She doesn't really come to the bed at night, but both love to be in the bed in the morning for morning cuddles.
They always come up in the mornings, as long as it's not too early when we get up, because they're not very early birds.
They like to sleep in.
Yeah, so they love to come in and cuddle under the duvet, and they purr, and it's just the cutest thing ever. In terms of sleeping during the day, lately Bluebell started to love sleeping on the beanbag. It's a massive fairy thing, and he just owns it.
Yeah. So whenever I sit on a beanbag and I don't know, for example, play on Xbox or watch something, and I get up, he just sits and waits for me to get up. As soon as I get up, he just jumps on it and takes over my space.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's warm and nice, and just surrounds him. He just melts into the beanbag and loves it.
He loves that. It's soft and lovely. Whereas Pixie loves sleeping on flat surfaces. We have an induction plate in the kitchen, so after we've cooked and it's hot, we always put a piece of cloth on top of it so that they don't hurt themselves. And Pixie loves that. It's warm and she just gets on it and sleeps on there.
Super funny.
Bluebell's favourite sleeping position is very flopped. He loves sleeping with his belly up and legs wide.
If you'd like to know more about Ragdoll's floppiness, we actually did a whole video where we challenged Pixie and Bluebell to see who's more floppy on the floppiness scale. It's going to be here, on this side.
On this side.
Nice.
Pixie is quite flopped as well when she sleeps, but she does like sleeping in the little bowl as well, so just like a normal standard cat position, I'd say.
Next thing we'll talk about is brushing, and when it comes to Bluebell, he's just touch me anywhere, I'm ready, always, and he loves being brushed, although the favourite place to be brushed, much like for Pixie, is the outside, on the balcony. He walks from side to side, and then you just follow him with a brush, and he flops on the other side, gives you belly, and he's the best cat to be brushed. Honestly.
Definitely. So they're very good. We're very lucky with that. Pixie, however, I think this may be my fault slightly. When she feels like it's enough of brushing, she just runs straight to the cupboard with the treats and expects to get one. And then after you give her one, she is still happy to be brushed for a little bit longer.
Everything for the treat.
Next section is attention seeking and affection. So Bluebell is very affectionate, but his meow is very loud, and sometimes we're very confused as to what he wants.
So sometimes he's gonna walk up to the cupboard, which is by the door, and he's just gonna start meowing into that corner, and you're like, what would you like?
He really meows as if someone was hurting him, but actually he just wants some pet time. Yippee! But he never comes up to us. He just goes to this corner, or jumps into the bathtub, or jumps on the bed, and then expects you to pet him there. And purrs like a tractor.
Yeah.
His purr is so loud.
The loudest. Pixie's a little bit different. Pixie often comes up to me and just tries to paw me, so I pick her up and meow, and then she just wants to be carried around like all the time. And it's super needy. She always gives head bumps, consistently and continuously, and then she like flops on the side. Still looking at you and like,
yeah,
"Please,
sometimes
Penny."
you just look at her and she just goes like
Flop.
and she's got this really soft princess purr.
Yes, yeah, she's super gentle. Toys!
Pixie loves very small toys, so scrunch up a sheet of paper, or even if she finds a grain of rice on the floor, that's lots of fun for her. And the biggest toy she likes is Mr. Carrot. It's the newest addition to our toy family, and she absolutely loves that one.
Bluebell's favourite toy is probably the wand with a little fur on the end of it. He loves to chase it around, but if you really want to get his attention, you should go to the bed and play on the bed. That's literally his playground, and there is no better place to play, and he has the most fun there.
Just how we do, our cats also have their morning routines. When I get up, Pixie always gets up with me. She will never stay in bed when there's no one in there. And she follows me to the kitchen, makes coffee with me, and then she follows me to the bathroom when I'm getting ready. She just lies on the bath mat and just sits there waiting for me to finish getting ready. Whereas Bluebell is a little bit different. He has some serious troubles getting up in the morning. He really tries to join in the morning routine, but you can often find him sitting on the bed with those eyes barely open, trying to get up. So now, Matt, tell us what happens when you go to the bathroom.
So ever since we got cats, I've lost my privacy in the bathroom, like completely. If I want to go to the bathroom and lock the door, cats just sit under the door and just meow continuously until you open the door, and they just have to be inside. It got to the point where Bluebell sometimes jumps into the shower and doesn't even mind getting wet, like water goes on him, and he doesn't mind it, he just sits there. It's super weird, but I find it difficult to, not let him in. I know, super weird, but they like that.
This very much ties into the Ragdoll trait of them following you around the house, and we can definitely confirm that this is true for both of our cats.
Absolutely. Pixie always sits in the kitchen. Like whenever I go to the kitchen or Mon goes to the kitchen, she's just there, and she's super well behaved as well, because she just sits there and watches you do everything. You just have to give her things to smell that you're going to use. She just needs to smell it, and then you're good to use it, and you've got her attention. She's just gonna stay until you leave the kitchen. Super funny. Like a little dog.
The next section on my list is procedures and medication.
Procedures? Okay.
Fortunately, we haven't had lots of medication that we had to give to our cats, but Pixie had some eye infection and we had to give her eye drops twice a day for a few weeks. She was very, very good with that, really patient, but again, she was very used to the fact that after you're done, she just runs straight to the cupboard to get a treat. Whereas Bluebell is quite patient, maybe a little bit less than Pixie, but he can take an offence for a minute. So once you let him go, he will just walk away for a little bit and look at you like, what have you done to me?
Yes.
Why is my paw wet? We also wanted to talk about some weird things that our cats like or do.
And there's a huge list, but we could only squeeze in a few.
Definitely. So Pixie is scared of fluffy things. She's scared of this fluffy beanbag that Bluebell absolutely loved. She just doesn't like the touch of it.
Same with the blanket. Actually, she would be scared of this blanket. Only recently, she started to go on it the other day, and she makes cookies on it, which is very surprising. We're like, what? Pixie is on this blanket?
She was very scared of that.
Yeah.
She also loves being outside, so when the balcony door is closed, she pulls on the window, tries to get out and meows, and is very sad.
Yeah, sometimes when we go to bed, 11 p.m. or something, you just hear loud meow from the living room. So I would go and check.
And pulls on the
window.
window.
It's just there by the window and she's like, meow.
Let me out, please. Bluebell's list is a lot longer than Pixie's, but we'll just make a few points. So Bluebell loves playing in the laundry basket. He absolutely loves putting his paws around in the holes. It's a very good playground for him.
And a bathtub as well. When you throw one of those little springs that jump up in a bathtub, he loves it. And you have your cat entertained for 15 minutes.
Definitely. What he is scared of is bin bags. So as much as he loves the fluffy bean bag and makes cookies on it all day, he hates bin bags. When you get one out, he just literally runs away.
Yeah,
It's
super
very
weird.
strange.
Yeah, we never did anything to scare him with a bin bag,
Yeah.
but he
So
was just
it's
always
very
like that.
strange.
Yeah.
Let's talk about their instincts and their attack tactic.
Okay, so they're both very different in that sense. Bluebell is kind of like full all out and just needs to be in the middle of the action with the toy, like sitting on it and like, you know, hugging it, and doesn't let the prey get far away from him. He just follows it constantly. Whereas Pixie, she kind of hides behind something, like, you know, any elevation that she finds, like a pillow or like, I don't know, behind a sofa. She just watches the you know, the toy go around and then attacks at the right time.
Like out of nowhere, and it's so fast.
Yeah, she's probably faster than Bluebell, but he's just there, like right after the
where she enjoys watching and observing.
Yes, yeah.
Her tactic is definitely more thought through. Tying into the attack tactic, we can talk about catching insects.
Yeah, so Pixie always like sometimes you'll find her just sitting in the living room or like anywhere in the house and just like looking at something and like, Pixie, what are you doing? And you walk up to her and she's got like the tiniest bag ever.
Yeah.
And she would be entertained by something like this, where, you know, sometimes
you can see it like from really far away, and she's very intrigued. She's really good with that.
So she sees things like this, but then whenever, you know, you give her treats or something and she drops one on the floor and doesn't notice it, I try to point it with a finger and she's like, what?
Give me another
what? Where is the treat? Where did it go? And I'm like, it's right here, I'm pointing with my finger.
Whereas Bluebell is absolutely terrible with insects. He would just sit there, not notice that something is coming up to him, literally underneath his paw, and he would just sit there and look at you like, hi, what are we doing?
Yes. So we talked about this a little bit in the previous sections, but purring and meowing, they both a little bit different, as you would expect. Bluebell is like super loud when it comes to purring and meowing, and he purrs with his mouth open. That's when you know he's really enjoying something. Like when you stroke his like head, he just loves it. And Pixie is a lot more subtle. She's just like a little princess, and on the other hand, when I think about it, her meow is just slightly weird sometimes when she wants something. And I think she's trying to mimic Bluebell sometimes, because we noticed she started to go to places that Bluebell meows in and does the same.
And tries to like mimic the sound.
Yeah, but I don't think she knows what to expect. So like Bluebell, when he goes to the bathtub and meows, he wants to play in the bathtub with a spring. Where Pixie just goes there, you walk in and she's like,
she's just looking at you like, why did you come in then? What are we doing? Yeah, but in general, her meow is very, very soft and a lot quieter. And when she purrs, you just know that she's very happy, and you kind of more appreciate it because it doesn't happen every single time. Whereas with Bluebell, sometimes he would be sleeping, you come up to him and he just opens one eye, you don't even touch him and he starts purring. So he's a very happy boy.
He's always happy.
In terms of other sounds that they do, Pixie always makes a sound when you pick her up. It's like a cute little she always makes a sound when she jumps on things as well. So when she jumps up on the bed, you know who he is.
Or cat tree.
Or a cat tree, yeah. Yeah, that's a good representation of that.
And I think this smoothly brings us to the end of this video. We had so much fun making it for you guys, and we hope you enjoyed it. We hope that now you understand a little bit better what to expect from a ragdoll cat, should you decide to get one.
Let us know if you have any further questions, and we'll try to answer them in the comments below.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.